latest presentation on tofacitinib and the JAK-STAT inhibitors which have been used for COVID-19. If you have been following our channel, you would have seen our presentation on JAK-STAT inhibitors, especially the baricitinib. The first clinical trial has been published with baricitinib and remdesivir. So we had discussed this in our previous videos. So this is basically just a revision from the previous video that you have already seen. The interferons, they act on the receptors, thereby activating the JAK enzyme, and this results in the phosphorylation and dimerization of the STAT. This STAT goes into the nucleus and produces the cytokines. Now, if this step is blocked, then these inhibitors, they will reduce the inflammatory markers. That is the principle behind this. So this is how it acts. So once the cytokines act in presence of a blockade of this, there is decreased target gene production and reduced cytokine productions, resulting in decrease in cytokine storm. This is the principle behind using these JAK-STAT inhibitors. Now, there are multiple JAK-STAT inhibitors available. We have discussed baricitinib because the initial clinical trial has been published based on this. Apart from that, there is tofacitinib, which is now available in India. Apart from these two, ruxolitinib is also one of the major drug which is being tested in COVID-19. So they act primarily on the JAK pathway. The baricitinib and ruxolitinib act on the JAK1 and tyrosine enzymes, thereby reducing the effect of these cytokines, while the tofacitinib acts on the JAK1 and JAK3 enzymes, resulting in reduction of interferon gamma and interleukin 2, 4, 8, 7, 9 effects. Now, if you look at what this drug is, tofacitinib is frequently used in rheumatoid arthritis, colitis, and spondylitis owing to its anti-rheumatic effects. It mainly inhibits JAK1 and JAK3 and to a lesser extent JAK2 and tyrosine K2. Mind you, these two are mainly inhibited by baricitinib, while the tofacitinib inhibits JAK1 and JAK3. The inhibition of the JAK, especially these JAK1 and JAK3, blocks the signaling of multiple interleukins as we saw in the previous diagram, thereby reducing the inflammatory cascade. Is there any evidence for use of this drug as of now? Currently, there are total 40 studies which have been enlisted in the clinicaltrials.gov. This is the registry for clinical trials. And this use is for these 4 drugs that have been used till now, that is ruxolitinib, baricitinib, tofacitinib, and pasritinib. They have been used single or as combination with other drugs. Out of these 40 studies, 20 trials have been ruxolitinib, 15 for baricitinib, 4 for tofacitinib, and 1 for parsitinib. In general, 14 studies have not started recruiting patients yet, while 21 studies have already recruiting subjects, and 1 study is completed, the one on baricitinib, and 2 have been withdrawn. So this is the evidence that we have till now. So till date, we do not have a clinical evidence for using these drugs. The only drug that has a clinical evidence has been baricitinib. All the other JAK-STAT inhibitors are based on presumption that they act on these ways most probably. So if you look more closely into the tofacitinib, these are the 4 trials which are going on right now. The first is a RCT, parallel assignment with 60 patients. The second is a multi-center RCT and it has 260 patients. The third is a multi-centered RCT. This is an open label study with 116 patients. Finally, we have a prospective cohort study. It is a single group open label interventional study with 50 patients. So roughly around 500-600 patients are to be enrolled in this study. The dose that they're using is 100 milligram BD dose in most of these studies. Some are using the combination with hydroxychloroquine also. and the outcomes are different in different trials. So till date we do not have the result from these studies. So once we get more data from the studies, maybe we can have a more justified use for these drugs in our trial. So to summarize, inflammation majorly contributes to the worsening of COVID-19. The JAK-STAT pathway is involved in the cytokine and the chemokine signaling pathway, which regulates the inflammation. This attributes to the ability of the cytokines receptors to phosphorylate the JAK and then STAT and ultimately bind to the DNA, resulting in production of further more inflammatory mediators, resulting in a cytokine storm. Now, the JAK-STAT inhibitors act operative to counteract the inflammatory action of SARS-CoV-2. Their use has been associated with adverse reactions like GI toxicity, diarrhea, dizziness, nasopharyngitis, elevation of AST/ALT, angioedema, and pulmonary embolism. Now, we must keep in mind that these medicines are not without side effects and they can have a serious impact on the patient as well. So, while we are looking at the positive impact of these drugs helping in reducing the symptoms or the inflammatory process in SARS-CoV-2, they can themselves result in some complications. We must keep an eye out for what these complications are and how frequently they are occurring in these patients. Now, to summarize, the JAK-STAT signaling looks to be a very promising approach to reduce the inflammation, yet it falls short of concrete conclusions due to lack of understanding of the mechanism. Is just inhibition of JAK-STAT pathway enough to block the cytokine storm? Is it going to be enough to stop the inflammatory process when we are already using a drug which has known complication and known positive effect, that is steroids? What is the impact of using another drug to affect just one pathway, thus warranting further studies to be done in these group of patients and looking more closely into the adverse effects and what exactly we are getting positive in the studies. Thank you for your patience and check our website for further information.